I say that so weird? Hello, hello, hello. Alright. Hello, everybody. We are back. Friday Night Multiplayer Series. I am Crash McQueen. And this is the Midwest F1 League. Now, we're getting a really weak night, unfortunately, with drivers. Only 12 have been able to make it out for this Friday night. It's just unfortunate and disappointing numbers. We'll have to deal with what we're going onward. Okay, there we go. My mistake, I forgot to go segregate myself in a separate party here, but we're back and we're at it, and we're gonna start ourselves in Hungary. Of course, the multiplayer series is 225% races with random grids. This is race week 5. I believe it's race week 5. It's this series it throws a wrench into things, and especially being in Hungary tonight, it's really gonna make things really tough, honestly, because Hungary, it's kind of a very technical circuit, and then getting minimal time on it, it's really gonna make it hard to kind of nail your laps right off the get-go. Because let's see, so it was 3 hours prior to the race that it was posted. Yeah, so 3 hours prior to the race that it was posted, I was in Hungary. Now, so a lot of these guys, they work, they have lives outside of what we do here, so it doesn't leave them much time to really warm up. They only have, I don't know, they have maximum 3 hours to practice, and on that time you have to throw in practice on 2 tracks, because the first is Netherlands, or sorry, the first is Hungary, where we are today, and then followed by Zandvoort in Netherlands. So, and that's a very technical circuit as well, so this is just kind of, this is going to be real tough on a lot of these drivers here, but we've got some pretty solid drivers here today, actually. Looking at Jacko, as well as Random Serious, Jeanette Twinette. Asnick had a top 6 or maybe top 5 finish last night in Division 1 in Austria, so very solid from him. Hotspot can throw up a pretty good race. ZGS is no slouch when he stays consistent. Monkey Mafia is starting to improve. We're going to get right into it. Of course, it being a random grid formation lap, let's just add it. Yelmir and ZGS are up in front. See if I can get a good camera angle here. It still looks like ZGS holds it, and that's Hotspot squirming around back there. He's on the outside line trying to get alongside of Yelmir. Tucks right in behind. Get right on the back of Hotspot here. We have a yellow flag behind. I think that's Asnick off. And oh, Hotspot misses his braking point and smacks the back of ZGS, and he hits Yelmir. Gets a little bit of ghost, but it seems to be alright. I think Jeanette overtook Monkey Mafia there. Random Serious goes in at Monkey as well. Monkey concedes position tier to tier, gets overtaken by the best pawns, as well as the best pawns. He gets a really solid race as well. So, you know what? Only 12 drivers, but like, these 12 drivers are really good. And of course, the commentator's curse comes into play there as Jimbo Fishing is spun off and out. Jacko has created himself a nice 2.5 lead between himself and Yolmir right off the hop, finding some real solid pace early on. Sorry, I was just checking my notes there, and through lap 1, bring up my full track map. Doesn't look like any pits. Cheetah Tier gets a good jump out around Monkey. He's going to overtake. Monkey isn't going to try and come back as the projected pit stop strategies come up here. So we're looking around lap 6 is where you're going to come in on those softs. Early penalty to Monkey, or Jimbo Fishing there, sorry. Random Series trying to come at Jinnit here. Still no DRS in this race. You really need DRS to get a pass down here. There's 2 DRS sections, but the second one is so very short. It's hard to even claim it to be one. Not much patch does happen there. It's actually a pretty cool little car that Monkey's going. I'll give him a little shout out on that. I dig those colors. Kind of reminds of some sort of aquarium. Is that ZGS? Yes, it is ZGS. It is spun off and is dropping down the order. After being up in the top 5 for quite a bit of this race, he's now dropping down, and Hotspot's trying not to drop down as well as he's trying to defend Jinnit. Jinnit taking the inside line, Hotspot dropping behind. Hotspot not giving away though, and he's just going to re-challenge around the outside of turn 2. He's trying to hold it if he's able to. He's got the inside line for turn 3, and it looks like him and Jinnit bump a little bit. And Hotspot forces Jinnit off, but Jinnit comes back on and reclaims the position of 3rd place. Jacko has pushed that lead between him and Yolmir up to 2 seconds now. The battle between Jinnit and Hotspot, Random Series, has gotten ever so closer to these 2 drivers. Now the softs are going to start wearing out pretty quick here. There you go. Hotspot's losing his bearings on his racing line there. Random Series just sneaks through for a pass into 4th place, and he's going to try and hunt down Jinnit. Random getting a little bit of a lock up there. Looks like Jimbo and Cheetah Tier are going at it there. Looks to come around turn 13. Jimbo takes the thought at the inside line, but opts out. Get DRS though. He's gonna take this turn 14 wide, try and snap it back in. Gets DRS, is in the slipstream. He'll get close. He's gonna be able to take a stab in at turn 1, and there he is. He's alongside of him and is able to pull through the racing line, and the Tier is forced to give way and drop back to 8th place. This is a lovely little pass from Jimbo and a clean racing from Cheetah Tier, but it looks like ZGS is getting close to Jan, as I don't know how to exactly pronounce that. A little bit of a touch, but nothing too crazy there. Jan still holds way. ZGS is not giving up on the move. Jan goes wide, that opens up the door for ZGS, and ZGS is going to snap right through and breaks late in through turn 6 and 7, but is going to hold on to the position and now up into the top 10 in this race. There will be 10 drivers. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but still an accomplishment. But the quality of drivers, I gotta say, is actually, it's really, I'm going to say it once again, it's a really solid quality drivers that we've got tonight. Honestly, all these guys are really good. Thank you again for tuning in on your Friday night for the MidWest F1 League. Jimbo's looking to come at the best pawns, trying to make up the ground within a half a second. Not exactly sure how much of a penalty that is. It seems to be only 3 seconds, so not the worst thing in the world. Hungary is a place where penalties can get picked up. A lot of areas to kind of corner cut. This being one of them, you can shoot it a little bit too far around turn 4. But both drivers do a fairly good job. Yolmir's still 2.5 to 2.25 seconds back of Jacko. That gap seems to be stagnant the last couple of laps here. So Yolmir is on a similar pace to Jacko, but he's not able to chop away at that. Looks like we've got a battle between Jan and Asnik. Jan or Yan? What should I say, Jan or Yan? Yan's softs are starting to wear out a little bit. try and come with the best pawns now. He's right in the split stream. You can see pit window is open for the soft, so maybe both of these drivers are going to come in after. Best pawns is going to slot behind on a lovely, I think that's a purple and blue. It's a fun color scheme. Jimbo now sitting ahead. Hotspot's first one to pull trigger into pits. Feeling like those softs are enough for him. On the mediums team goes 12 laps for the medium tire compound. We'll have to see the comparison between the other drivers. Jinnit. I think if you're Jinnit to win it, and Random Series, you want to start eating away at Jacko's lead now. You really do. Because those softs are going to start falling off with the turn-heavy course that this Hungaroring is. And the mediums are going to last out. The softs are going to fall off a lot quicker than what you normally expect. So kind of about time to start chipping away at that gap. There you go, Jimbo Bishop goes a little bit wide. He's just going to opt for the pit, so Best Pawns follows him in. Hotspot seems to get an overtake on Yan. ZGS as well into the pit, so a lot of guys on soft tire compounds go to the pits. Jacko's usually a guy to try and stay out. What Yolmir may do. If I were Yolmir, I'd come in the pit now and see if I can undercut some time away from him. Random Serious and Jinnit don't seem to be making up any ground on each other or on Jacko, so they gotta start really working on their pace. See where Hotspot ends up here. He's trying to catch Asnick. Be able to tell the difference between the age of the two sets that these drivers are on. Sorry. Ooh, in the hot spot. No, you can't. You cannot even touch that curb because it just. Oh no! And then he gets too heavy on the throttle. Poor man. On to Jimbo now as Jimbo's trying to hunt down Yan, and there we go. Yolmir's in the pit. Yan goes off. Jimbo cuts under and gets the overtake. Jimbo now into 8th. Yan drops down into 9th, still needing to pit. So Yolmir does come into the pit. Oh, I think that was Yan just spinning out at the tail end of... Yes, it was. Quite unfortunate. Yolmir's going to try and hunt down Tier the Tier now. It's within a half a second, but a half a second can change quickly on this course. Solid route through that turn 4. That turn 5 is just, it really bites. You want to get up on the curb, but it will just launch you back down and throw you off. Yolmir is showing way more pace than Tier the Tier, and he needs to get an overtake done on Tier the Tier. Tier the Tier is really slowing him up here. I think a couple times there, Yol really could have attempted an overtake, but trying to race clean here, and he needs Tier the Tier to go in the pits. He does. Yol's gonna get DRS. Who's that coming out in front of Jacko? I think that's actually Jan. So we'll see where that gap lies now. The undercut, I imagine, would have worked, but Yolmir got so much time lost from Jimbo holding him up on those fairly old softs. That just hurts. Now Jacko's got a nice 3.8 second cushion here. It's a 1 lap difference between the two drivers' tires. Still under halfway through this race, so time can be made up by Yolmir, but Jacko just seems to be on a groove this evening and is only 12.5 seconds back on Jinnit to win, who still needs to pit, as well as 10 seconds back on Random Serious, who as well still needs to pit. This race is really opened up here. Asnick is the closest to a driver ahead of him. That sit at about 2 seconds. That actually flopping down to the best ponds as Asnick loses quite a bit of time here in Sector 2. Best Ponds is making up major ground. A whole second has been lost by Asnick on the pace. Even more times being lost. The Best Ponds is now right in striking distance. First place will take a peek at the penalty situation between the two drivers, and they're all even on 3 penalties. The Best Ponds can't figure out a braking line. He must have taken some sort of damage as he's coming into the pit, so that must be it. He's pitting. He wouldn't just pit for fun. He's pitting because he needs to pit. Whoa, I think Random Serious went off a little bit there. I think he's without a wing. He's just cutting turns. Or he's trying to cool down these tires and doesn't feel confident taking these turns. But Jacko's now just outside a second back. Random once again still needs to pit. Jacko's on far fresher tires. Looking at the position changes right now. Jacko starts third and is third, but quite possibly can move up ahead of Random Serious in a matter of moments here. He's got DRS, he's got the far quicker pace, and he's got second place now, which is provisional first. Random Serious brakes quite late, trying to come back at Jacko, but the difference in the tires is just far too much. There's 9 laps different between Jacko's set and Random Serious' set, so Jacko 100% has the advantage and moved up into second, and Random Serious still got a good shot for a podium here, but he's going to have to find some real pace. He's got quite a bit of ground to make up, to be honest, to get a podium. He still needs to pit, as does Jinnah to win. He's got 10 seconds between, or 11 seconds between him and Random Serious, and Random Serious, the next person that he's going to be competing with the podium with is Jolmir, who is 3.7 seconds behind and has already pitted. So we'll have to see. I imagine the way it's sitting right now is that Jolmir is going to be competing with Jinnah for second place. As Jinnah comes into the pit, that's going to throw Jacko up into the lead. Monkey's trying to work it on clear the tier. Jolmir now moves up into a podium position. We'll see where Jinnah comes out in comparison. He's sitting around 4.5, 5 seconds back is probably where it's going to settle. So 5 seconds separates Jinnah from second place. Random Serious is 11.5 seconds back on Jinnah as well. But Jinnah doesn't have a penalty, so it's not completely out of distance here. Jinnah seems to be holding that position for that time difference. Monkey Mafia is going to try and work at Tier the Tier here. As Tier the Tier is on the older, or sorry, the slower compound tire. Asnick and ZGS are going at it here. Asnick is on the softs. Asnick being on the mediums. Asnick took a look at the inside, goes off, and ZGS spins out and hits the wall, and I do not believe that had any doing with Asnick. I didn't see any contact. I may be wrong, but it did look like Asnick was that close. It may be different, could be some sort of server lag. But ZGS is spun out, still holding on to 10th place. But he's gonna have Hotspot trying to chase him down, of course, spinning out and the wall. He's gonna need to pit. You can see the difference in pace. The later portion of that straight stretch between Monkey Mafia and Tier to Tier. Monkey's really trying to improve and throw himself into a solid midfield contestant when he's getting ever so close. As each race goes on, the improvement is vast and noticeable from where we initially saw him all those months ago. But to overtake Tier to Tier here needs to be done. He is on the softer tire compound. Tier to Tier and him, I'd say, are pretty even playing fields on driver's skill. So Monkey needs to get it done simply due to the fact that he's got the quicker tires. But Tier to Tier is throwing in some bangers of proper corners here, and now it has pushed Monkey out of DRS. That's going to really hurt Monkey here. Tier to Tier has been crushing some speed here. Yolmir now at around 5 seconds between himself and Jacko. Jinnit just brought himself to 1.7, the gap between himself and Yolmir. So possibly a position change for second place in the foreseeable future between those two drivers. After this race is over, do not go anywhere, as we got Zandvoort to follow. Now just outside a second, we'll jump on with him and see if he's going to be able to hunt down Yolmir. Of course, the 3-second penalty is going to hurt him, but there is a chance. If Jinnit does get an overtake, he's got 3 full laps to go. If he can increase that gap a second a lap, it is quite the possibility, but it all rides on Jinnit overtaking Yolmir as soon as possible. Not the one to take too many penalties here, so Jinnit's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and make up for the penalty that was given to him by simply just driving quicker. The Daniel Ricciardo way of the early this year, or I guess last year, it is 2021. But 7 tenths separate Jinnit and Yolmir. This gap is not close enough to take a lunge into turn 1. Possibly, if Jinnit can perfectly hit the apex there, he might leave himself with hope and chance for turn 2, but that gap is too far, and Jinnit's gonna have to find somewhere else on track to get her done. Now within 3 tenths, he's showing obvious pace, but that move is not around turn 4 either. Is just so technical. It's just a pass has to happen when a driver makes a mistake. Yolmir, you can see, slipping a little bit on those mediums. Jinnit has the far better groove for this track, and may think about an overtake here. Lines up, but opts out. See if he's going to be able to do it now. The ZGS in the distance you see there. Here we go, Jinnit. Just getting real close, but can he stay out of the dirty area? Yes, he does. He opts to go on the inside line there. And is now right behind Yolmir. Yolmir defends the inside line. Jinnit goes to the outside. Yolmir... Oh, and then Jinnit spins out. That is not what you want to see, but he gets back up. But elbows were out from Yolmir there in that defense. hate being in these positions, but that's up to the stewards on that one. It doesn't look like it was too egregious. Asnick completely cuts the line. He's got to be without a wing. The way he's going. Drifts a little bit of the grass. He's run out of laps to try and catch Cheer the Tier here. Cheer the Tier's outclassed him, simply put, in the last half of this race. And Monkey is starting to get in jeopardy of 7th place as the best pawns. It's starting to close that gap as well. We'll check the detail quick. Best Pawns does have 3 seconds more penalty time, but he's within striking distance. We are completely onto the final lap here. These drivers are on the lead lap. I think these are the last drivers on the lead lap as well. And the Best Pawns is getting real close. That's my dog comes and says hello. But a half a second still sits. The Monkey loses his racing line out of turn 1 and is now alongside the Best Pawns. The Best Pawns outbreaks him around the outside and is able to make the move stick, and now he's got 1 lap to try and open up that gap to 3 seconds, but on the complete other side of the track, Jacko comes over for the win. Jinnen is in second. What happened with Yulmir? Did I miss something? Does he have his... Yes, his entire right wing, or his front wing. But Jinnen comes over second, Yulmir is third, Random Serious fourth, Hotspot, Asnick, ZGS 9, 10th, 11th. Jimbo Fishing hitting the wall on his way through. Boy, being told that Yulmir got a piece of that turn 5 curve. Ouch. Loses out on second place. Jinnen comes over. First race of the night is in Zandvoort. We are off to Zandvoort next. Zandvoort as well, a technical course, a little bit tighter. I gotta say it's actually fairly similar, a little bit quicker, I guess, on overall pace, I'd imagine. Has a couple of DRS sections, so maybe possibility for more passing, but with 12 drivers it's tough to hope that all of them stay close. But there you see Jacko with another win in the MidWest F1 League. Jinnen to win it, getting second, and Yulmir getting a nice podium for his efforts. Unfortunately dropping down into third, but he'll take the podium after the start of this race, so not too shabby from him. We'll go through the finishing lineup once again. We got Jacko, Jinnen, and Yulmir, our podium. Random Serious, Jimbo Fishing, Tier the Tier, the Best Pawns, Monkey Mafia, Hotspot, and Asnick rounding out the top 10, and then 2 guys were 2 laps behind the pace, and that was ZGS and Jan MF Breuer. I don't know what to make of that. Okay, but yeah, like I said, onward to Zandvoort we go. Random grid once again. Most positions made up in the race, I think, is 5 from the Best Pawns is what I'm seeing. 4 from Random Series. I think, yeah, the Best Pawns making up the most amount of positions starting at the back of the track. Uh, Monkey, I'm sorry, I can't remember. Man, this is not my night for fantasy hockey. Everything is going wrong. I'm getting so many injuries. Guys, my opponent is getting empty net goals with point freaking like 3 on the clock for extra like point. Like, come on. I've got 9 games missed from COVID. My opponent has had 2. Like, I've chalked this one up as a loss a long time ago, but still, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to open up the year, open up my fantasy year with a win, but that is just, I need to stop looking at it because it's just aggravating me even more. I'm closing that. On to Zandvoort we go, though, as I had my little bit of distraction time away from. Oh, goodness gracious. But yes, there we go. On to Zandvoort. Random grid. Race 2 of the evening. Can Jacko pull out a double? We'll have to see. Zandvoort's going to be a real tough race to go as your second one for the night. Zandvoort. No, of course, we've never actually seen a live race at Zandvoort, nor Vietnam, which is kind of weird. Being in the game and spending so much time on it, you never actually seen anything happen there. Never, never, never. Oh, there's an interesting fact about one of the turns. Zandvoort F1 track. I'm gonna try and pull that up. I'll find it somewhere. Once again, random grid. I don't know who's at the start. That is Asnick, followed by the best pawns, Random Serious, and Jinnit to win it. Jinnit already getting an overtake on Random Serious. Jacko trying to come at him as well. Yulmir shoots the inside line. So you got a really quick front 6 there. Kind of jumped down to Random Serious as he dives the inside line. Jacko sends it all the way around the outside. So that's actually one of the most fun turns. Yeah, unfortunately, pins out. Bimbo looks like he's getting real close to Yulmir and a VSC early on. Because that kills the start of this race. Because why not? Why wouldn't we need a VSC so very early? And Yan has opted to leave the session, so we're gonna get a computer, sorry, to drive out the rest of this race for him. 17 full laps to go after he finishes this one. I imagine we're gonna go green fairly quickly here as every driver is up and going. All the drivers are going to try and time the BSC. As Will Asnick currently sits with a 1.5 second gap, trying to get the tires back warm. And there we go. There's a tier spin, I think. Tier spun. Jin is right alongside the best pawns. The best pawn tries to go around the outside to defend, but Jin had the inside line and gets the move. Jacko is fighting with them as we'll jump on board with Yulmir here. Monkey Moth retired from session. Jacko looking to come at Jin as well. Trying to get into second place here. Jin is going to close the doors. This is a real tight part of the track. And Asnick goes right off. Does a good job to save it and not absolutely bin it. but he went right onto the dirt there. As you see, Jeanette's trying to get an overtake as well, with Asnick opening up the door. Ooh, and Asnick getting a little bit too heavy on the throttle, getting oversteer, and that brings Jeanette right alongside as well. Ooh, a little bit of a tap. Asnick is right with Jacko as they touch, but Asnick does a very good job of saving it, but unfortunately Jacko is the one that spins out, and he's down the order in 8th place. Still a battle here for 2nd position between Asnick as the best pawn. The best pawn kind of just snuck in out of nowhere to get an overtake into 2nd place, and is now being hunted by Asnick as Asnick comes out of that turn 1 with far more speed than the best pawn does. We'll see if there's any difference between the racing lines here. Best pawn's slowing up Asnick quite a bit. It seems like Asnick's got the far better pace through sector 1. And there you go, the door was open for Asnick, and Asnick takes it. A little bit of contact between him and the best pawns, but both are giving enough room, and best pawns actually goes for a switchback. And we'll see what can be done as Yulmir gets right into the battle as well. Oh, a freaking good camera angle. Look at that. Random Serious trying to get into this group, and Yulmir sends it down the inside line on the best pawns and kind of nudges him out of the way, and then Random Serious moves in between all of them. Jimbo Fishing jumps up ahead of Asnick. Now Asnick is completely out of the podium in 6th place. Jimbo Fishing is trying to move up. Asnick's not giving way. Oh, give me back that camera angle. That was gorgeous. And Pawn still holding on to 2nd. Random Serious jumps up. We have 6 cars battling. Wow, this is some wow. This is really fun. Holy Christ. All these cars are absolutely jumping around. Random Serious is still holding on to 2nd place, taking up all those positions. Asnick has moved up back into 5th. ZGS has now brought himself into the party. Jimbo Fishing has dropped back, and the best pawns is now the one in 7th place, as these cars are continually passing each other. That kind of came out of absolutely nowhere for an entire lap. That was some real fun stuff. It's kind of opened up a little bit now, but at one point there was all 6 drivers like right alongside each other. I wonder if we're gonna see that again. The cluster after through turn 11 and 12 kind of created that whole thing, and has brought Random Serious all the way up into 2nd place, and now is being hunted by Yulmir. And honestly, Yulmir kind of sent turn 11 a little bit too much last time through it. ZGS is going to try and work on Asnick here. Asnick a little bit weird. Simply put out of turn 14. Get the rest of my feed there. Best Pawns has really dropped back out of the pace of all these drivers here. Asnick taking a big looping line there. ZGS had a good chance to overtake Asnick there, with Asnick losing quite a bit of position, but unfortunately ZGS got a little bit too excited on the throttle. Really lost it all. But Jimbo is going to try and work on these 2 drivers in the black multiplayer cars. The only flag in sector 2 is that Jinnit. Did Jinnit bin it? Jinnit did bin it, and Jinnit's dropping down. He's now into 3rd place, and he's gonna be in a direct scrap real quick here, so he's got to hope that his tires cool down. Asnick breaks a little bit late, but ZGS gives him the room. Now ZGS, after giving the room, does the rightful thing and overtakes for 4th place, and Asnick gets overtaken twice in 2 turns by Jimbo as well. Now Asnick gets a really good run out of turn 14 into the slipstream of Jimbo, but looks like Jimbo's got the straight line advantage here. As Jimbo was actually making up ground on ZGS, Asnick was just able to stay par with him on the straight line. Asnick real swifty there, and it looks like Random Serious got overtaken for 1st place by Yulmir. Yulmir actually on the soft tire compound as well. But this falls in the favor of Random Serious. Yulmir should have opened up that gap on Random Series quite a bit. Random's going to have the advantage later on in this race with him switching to the softs. We'll check with Jinnit. Jinnit's on the softs. And unfortunately that spin out last time we were here on this lap, which was lap 5. My English is a little bit odd right there, but I got the job done. Third place is where Jinnit stands, but moving through sector 2. Seems able to get an overtake on Random Series. Here's Random Series struggling with a little bit of pace. DRS will be open, and a much better run out of turn 14 from Jinnit is going to give him the advantage, setting the quickest lap, so he really brings it after spinning it out, trying to get back into a little bit of a tap for Random Series. Nothing too vicious. Random doesn't try and snap back at him from the tap, gives the position. Sits in third place, Jinnit, and we're going to try and work on Yolmir. The battle between Random Series and Jinnit opens up a gap ever so slightly, but these two are going to close it to Yolmir. Yolmir was happy about the battle behind him, but with them not battling anymore, they're going to have a cleaner time trying to make up the ground to first place here. So Yolmir's going to be trying to run real quick here. The gaps that was so very close from second to seventh is now really opened up. The best Pawns is kind of falling off pace, as well as Asnick, Jimbo Fishing. He's not able to keep up with the podium contenders right now, which sit at Yolmir, Jinnit, Random Series. Kind of check quickly at the pit stops. So that being Jacko, Hotspot, Tim Tier, and the Ghost of Gun have pitted already. Going to the tire compounds. Front 2 and Yolmir and Jinnit on the softs. I'm surprised they haven't pit yet. And a VSC. Asnick. Oh, Asnick loses that. Let's see if we can get a peek here. But yeah, that's a broken vehicle there. Asnick is out of this race. No points will be gained here in race 2 of the multiplayer series. Random Series is going to try and time this VSC. The car still is yet to be cleared. Ooh, penalty. Oh, a drive through to Yolmir. Oh, that's going to kill his chances there. Jinnit gets a really good run out of the VSC, and he's right on the tail of Yolmir. The car is finally cleared, so Yolmir virtually has to pit. And then go back and drive through the pit, or else a black flag will be given because of his illegal actions in the VSC. And why not? Let's throw on another penalty onto that. So there you go. You see Yolmir into the pit. I'm not sure if that's just going to be a drive-through or an entire pit stop. That's going to move quite a few drivers up the corner here. Check. I think that was just a drive-through penalty. So no pit. See where he winds up. Looks like he's going to come out in front of the best Pawns there. A couple turns ahead, 6-second gap between the two. So that kind of gives us an idea on where Jacko's going to come out. So he's going to probably add another 4 seconds onto that gap. So Jacko, with the pits in front of him, still may be able to scratch 5th place or so. After the drivers ahead pit, as Jacko's going to try and ride out these mediums for the rest of this race, maybe even hope for a safety car to get onto some softs. An unfortunate situation from some contact early on in this race has dealt him the hand of 7th place with an early pit stop. ZGS making up solid ground on Random Series, now about 1.2 seconds. Both are going to come in pit, as well as they're both able to slow up enough. You're going to see the soft tire compounds come on for a lot of these drivers. You'll see where these guys end up. Best Pawns as well, and Fenton's going to throw on some mediums. So Jinnit goes back into the lead. Random Series sits 2 seconds back, but is on the softs. So he's got the hammer here, pretty much. Jimbo's a second out of Jacko, but Jimbo has got the softs over to Jacko. So that'll be a fun little battle there. We'll see what Jacko's going to be able to do defensive-wise to try and hold that position. But right now, the battle for first is seemingly between Jinnit and Random. Can Random make the ground on Jinnit? He's got 9 whole laps to go. He's going to want to do it sooner than later. Sets purple sector 2. So I imagine we might see what would be more like a hot lap here. Try and get himself as close as possible. He'll veer down into the pit. So his second time through for the night. Pit twice should come out in front of Best Pawns, but the drive-through penalty is just an absolute killer. Jinnit's holding some real solid pace here. Random is trying to push as hard as he can, and he's going to force himself into a lesser racing line, but that soft tire compound is going to make up for all that ground improperly hit, as he's going to be able to grip out turns far better and easier. But the more he does that, the more he's going to use his tire wear, so he's also got to be careful. Jinnit seems to be absolutely pumping out some laps or some proper turns here. Jacko has worked himself within DRS range. ZGS is on the softs. ZGS should be ready to pull away, but Jacko is in some sort of form in Zandvoort right now, looking to do the double podium after what was the spin out early on in this race. He's worked himself back into striking distance of the podium. Like I said, Jimmy was throwing in some crazy times there through those sectors on fresh mediums. Random should have the advantage, but Jinnit absolutely threw out a scorcher of a first lap out. That sits that gap back at 2 seconds, but you see if Jinnit was just kind of trying to grow that gap as much as possible to make it ever so hard on Random Serious to make up that ground. But Jacko here is really throwing some solid pace at ZGS, forcing the hand of ZGS to have to really feel the heat and try and roll with the punches. Keep that pace up and keep Jacko at bay. That gap between Jinnit and Random sits at 2.5 now, so Jinnit's throwing out some crazy times. But the move may be in the cards here. Jacko gets a really good run on turn 14, and moves up into podium position now. ZGS has got to try and come back at Jacko as soon as possible, or his podium goal is going to be gone, with Jacko seemingly driving off into the distance, finding some sort of groove here in Zandvoort. ZGS is trying to make up the ground. But Jacko's just got these corners pinned. Still within DRS range, is going to get a little bit closer here in the straight. But then misses his break point. We'll see how close Jimbo can get. Now a second and a half out. Jimbo as well misses his break and catches a bit of the wall and overcuts that turn, lifts himself up on the curb. But even doing so, the gap between himself and ZGS is decreasing. ZGS has just lost all of his pace. Yolmir sets fastest lap. I think that's hotspot. Is off in sector 2 there, not the day that he was hoping for. 4 full laps to go in Zandvoort. Halfway through the 14th. Jacko set for a double podium, as well as Jinnit to win it. Random Series trying to get his first podium of the night. Jacko, as well as decreasing that gap to Random Series. Random just can't find the proper pace in Zandvoort here, where Jacko is just seemingly at home on this circuit. He's got 4 full laps to try and close that gap. Random Series on your screen is now just entering Sector 2. Trying to close that gap between himself and Jinnit, as well as make sure that Jacko stays far away so you can hold on to that position. Jimbo Fishing is within a second and a half, is where that timestamp is floating between the two drivers to ZGS. Yulmir has not worked himself DRS range. Unfortunately did not catch DRS for that section. But Jimbo's gonna open up the door to Yul. Back wing of Yulmir is gonna open here. Jimbo's trying to swerve to break that slipstream, but Yulmir, oh, what the... I had a little bit of a server lag there. That'd be on me, but everything seems to be fine between the two drivers. Yulmir goes to the inside line, Jimbo goes to the outside as these drivers flip-flop between the inside and the outside, inside, outside, and Yulmir kind of tries to drift down and only the inside of what is turn 3. And unfortunately that did not end up working, so Jimbo's going to hold on to position 5. Yulmir drops and stays in P6. The gap still holds at about a second, but Yulmir is decreasing that gap. He's got the pace right now over Jimbo, and Jimbo's tires are going to start wearing down. Yulmir being on the mediums, he's got the advantage between the two drivers in the pace category. Unless I go a little bit French-Canadian there for no reason at all. We might see another move back from Yulmir. Checking the penalties, it sits at 3 seconds. Yulmir has the potential to overtake. What do we have off in sector 1? I don't see anything too wrong there. Jacko's now a 2-second gap between him and Random Series. Random at 2.7 between himself and Jinnit. Yulmir alongside Jimbo's. Jimbo once again sends it around the outside, and oh no, Yulmir. I didn't see a touch there. I think he got a little bit too heavy on the throttle, and his P6 is going to be in jeopardy. Get on the best possible speed where he is, but actually the gap between those two drivers is too far gone, so Yulmir is going to be able to hold on to P6, but the only battle seemingly left in this race is gone as quickly as it came. Closest gap sits with Jacko and Random Series, as you can barely see the driver. Actually, once you get to the braking zone, you can see the driver. So Random's really trying to hold on there. Ever since the pit, he just hasn't been able to find the pace that Jinnit is throwing out there, being in such clean air. But if you were to ask me before this race who I thought would end up on the podium, these would be my front 3 contenders here with Jinnit, Random Series, and Jacko. Any 3 of those drivers can take the win on any given day. Even throwing up the favoritism to Jacko in the overall inconsistency department. Asnick showed some real solid stuff so far. Yulmir had a fairly decent day with the podium and a 6th place finish. Best Pawns, I'm sure, isn't too content on what he was able to bring today, but I'm sure he'll come back with vengeance on another day. Jimbo Fishing, a nice little 5th place finish from him, nothing to gripe about. that driver, so we'll switch him up. Getting on the POV of him, but actually I think we should go, rightfully so, to Jinnit to win it, who's going to come over the line with the win here in Zandvoort on the second race of the evening. Jacko's trying to work himself back onto second place, but maybe one or two more laps. He might have had a shot, but unfortunately he ran out of laps and actually sets the fastest one, 15 laps deep on his medium tire compound. So just shows you how much pace he was going to save up that entire race there. Coming over the line, third place, actually, finishing up what I was saying. Jimbo actually gets a fourth place to ZGS's penalties, moving him down into fifth. Yomir is going to hold sixth, Best Pawn seventh. Hotspot has entire sector 3 to finish up here before he can claim his 8th place finish, but Best Pawn's is about to go over the line here. Oh, is that Jimbo stopped at the end there? I think it may be. Hotspot's the last man to come over the line to claim his position, and everyone who finished the race here today is going to get a top 10, so good on them. Disappointing night for driver-wise and attendance from the MidWest F1 League, but you know what, you can run into these days, you can run into days where everyone checks in, you run into days where no one's able to, so quite unfortunate stuff with the amount of drivers we got tonight. But honestly, like that, they think it was lap 5. That was an absolute banger of a lap. That was like so much fun. We need to find a way to clip that entire lap, as that whole thing was just like, it was just wheel to wheel racing throughout the entire lap. But congratulations to Jacko getting the double podium, as well to Jinnit going 1 and 3, as well as Jacko going 1 and 3. Well, if you look at that, they are all square through points to this race, so good stuff. Random Series collecting a podium, as does Jomir in the first race. Jimbo Fishing coming over a solid 4th, ZGS 5th, Yomir 6th, Best Pawn 7th, Hotspot 8th, Cheetah Tier 9th, the bot of Jan in 10th, Asnik DNFing in 11th, as well as Monkey Mafia DNFing in 12th. 2 drivers were off the pace. I think that's actually 3 drivers. Hotspot, Tier the Tier, or no, sorry, just Tier the Tier and Jan were off the pace there. So unfortunate stuff from them, but a solid race all around. Like that said, that battle from what was 2nd to 7th was just absolutely exhilarating, and I really highly suggest going back and giving that a watch, as I really truly enjoyed that. So I'm going to go do that probably right now, because I can't even. I wasn't even sure what to make of all the position changes. I'll have to go see how many there was there, but that's going to be about it for me here on this Friday night of the multiplayer series. Sorry for the amount of drivers that showed up tonight. Usually we're a lot more consistent than that, and you know, we might get a little bit of a talking to some of these guys for kind of putting us in a tough spot on this Friday. So, but that is what it is. Be sure to go check us out on our Instagram and our Twitter pages, as well as our YouTube page, where you can find this lovely game, or lovely race, up after I posted it, which is most likely going to be tomorrow, possibly even tonight. So go check that out for me, please. It is all very much appreciated. We love everyone that supports the MidWest F1 League, but I understand that it is Friday, and you should understand that it is Friday for me as well. So I'm going to go enjoy what's left of my Friday, as you should too. So enjoy it, have a drink on the MidWest F1 League, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we'll be seeing you again Wednesday night. Good night.